years ago, an Ethiopian king created a new capital for Christians. Recently, Pope Francis mentioned an ancient Bible that many people haven't seen. This Bible is older than the one we commonly know and has been kept secret by influential groups. It holds teachings and stories that might change the way we understand faith. But why has it been hidden? What important truths does it hold? Get ready to explore one of history's biggest secrets: the early Christian writings. The Bible, which is essential to Christianity, is actually a collection of writings with mysterious beginnings. It may surprise you to learn that the idea of an original Bible is more of a mystery than a clear fact. Over the years, many attempts to protect and copy its holy texts faced challenges that changed Christianity. But imagine a time when important teachings were shared through delicate scrolls. As early churches grew, there was a huge demand for these teachings, leading to many copies being made. However, the question of what was real and true was often debated. Putting together the Bible was a challenging task, filled with disagreements and misunderstandings. For example, St. Paul's letters, written before his death in 65 AD, account for almost half of the New Testament. Some of his letters even mention sayings from the Gospels. Parts of the New Testament were already in use by 96 AD, and the book of Revelation marked the end of its creation. However, there was still confusion about which writings were officially part of it. This led to debates that lasted for centuries. Early church leaders like Clement of Rome, Polycarp, and Irenaeus each had their own lists of sacred texts, but they often disagreed. For instance, Clement recognized only 8 books around 95 AD, while Irenaeus, about 70 years later, accepted 21. Additionally, there were also fake writings that complicated matters. Texts like the Gospel of Thomas and the Epistle of Barnabas confused many believers about which writings to trust. Eusebius, a historian and bishop of Caesarea, worked to bring clarity by sorting texts into 3 groups: accepted, debated, and false. He helped shape what we now call the New Testament. His work, along with St. Jerome's famous Latin translation of the Scriptures, helped confirm these important texts. However, a question still lingered. What about the original Bible? The idea of a single, perfect Bible is not as simple as we think. What part did Constantine have in this story, and how did religious communities influence the early church? Stay tuned to learn more about these interesting links between faith, holy texts, and the changes in Christianity over the years. After St. Peter was arrested in 33 AD, Christians faced harsh persecution from Roman emperors trying to erase their beliefs. Nero, known for blaming Christians for the Big Fire in Rome, was one of those emperors. In 64 AD, there were extreme tortures and mass killings, and holy writings were destroyed. Similar destruction happened during Emperor Dian's rule. Many historians think these events caused the loss of the original biblical texts. Everything shifted in 306 AD when Constantine came to power. At first, he ruled only part of the Roman Empire, but wanted to unite the whole area. In 312 AD, he faced his rival Maxentius at the Battle of Milvian Bridge, where he had a vision. A light appeared in the sky along with the words, "By this sign you shall conquer." Believing it was a sign from God, Constantine had his soldiers put the Christian symbol on their shields and won an important battle. Thankful for what he saw as help from the Christian God, he made Christianity legal with the Edict of Milan in 313 AD. This was an important moment that saved lives and allowed Christians to worship freely. However, disagreements among Christians began to arise, and Constantine worked to address these issues. Convened the Council of Naa in 325 AD. The council's outcomes included the Naini Creed, which defined core Christian beliefs, and the affirmation of 27 New Testament books, a milestone reinforced by St. Athanasius's Easter letter in 367 AD. During the Middle Ages, monastic communities became guardians of the sacred texts. These devoted men and women living in isolation meticulously hand-copied the Bible in scriptoria, often decorating their work with intricate illuminations. Their efforts ensured the survival of the Bible through turbulent. In the 12th century, theologians like Peter Lombard presented new ideas about Christian beliefs. Lombard's writings helped explain complex concepts and included texts that were previously considered unapproved. Over time, these additional books gained acceptance, though some Christians still opposed them, which contributed to the start of the Protestant Reformation. This story is just the beginning. The Ethiopian Bible is particularly interesting and different from other versions. Ancient manuscripts show Ethiopia's special Christian history. What secrets do their old pages hold? What do they tell us about the spiritual journey of a whole nation? Join us as we explore how the Ethiopian Bible changes our understanding of the beginnings of faith. The Ethiopian Bible is different from well-known versions like the King James Bible, not just because it is older or beautifully made. The Ethiopian Bible is quite different from the King James Bible. It has a deeper and richer background, offering new insights into faith, art, and theology. It's like stepping into a new world of Christian tradition filled with surprises. To give you an idea of its size, the King James Bible has 66 books, while the Ethiopian Bible has an impressive 84 books. This includes interesting texts like the Book of Enoch, which is very engaging. The text talks about the fallen angels, their rebellion, and how it affected humanity. It also mentions the Book of Jubilees, which offers a different perspective on Genesis with its own moral and religious lessons. Other important texts include the Book of Baruch and 3 versions of the Book of Maccabees, which aren't found in many Western traditions. These additional books give more insight into early Christian beliefs, adding historical and spiritual perspectives that are often lacking in Western versions. Essentially, the Ethiopian Bible is like an extended edition of these stories. The Ethiopian Bible has many untold stories and larger themes. What makes it special isn't just the written words, but also its art. The pages are filled with bright illustrations of saints, apostles, temples, and detailed diagrams that link different scripture passages. These images do more than just decorate the pages. They bring the spiritual messages to life in colorful detail. Remarkably, the colors are still very well preserved. Their brilliance has lasted over 1,000 years because they were carefully stored in a cool, dark monastery. Reading through its pages feels like traveling back in time, as if the artists just finished their work yesterday. The Ethiopian Bible offers interesting ideas too. For example, the Book of Enoch changes the idea of sin, showing it not just as a human mistake, but as a larger battle between good and evil, affected by fallen angels. The Ethiopian texts explore themes of sin and salvation in a deeper way, adding complexity to the story. They focus on having a personal relationship with God, which is different from many Western traditions that see the church as the main link to God. These scriptures encourage people to take charge of their own spiritual journey, creating a feeling of closeness to the divine. The Ethiopian Bible is also important because it has its origins from the 4th century. The Ethiopian Bible was created before many Western versions and developed on its own without the impact of major church councils like Neneh. This independence helped the Ethiopian Bible keep an original viewpoint on Christianity that feels unique and untouched by later European influences. Besides its important religious and historical value, the Ethiopian Bible also contains a wealth of worship material, including psalms, hymns, and prayers, which enhance its spiritual use. For example, Psalm 151, which is not well known in Western Bibles, is part of this collection. The Ethiopian Bible adds a beautiful and poetic touch that makes worship feel alive. It shows that the Bible is not just a book, but a key part of the community's spiritual life. Most importantly, it demonstrates Africa's deep impact on early Christianity. While Western stories often take the spotlight, this text proudly represents Ethiopia's rich history and significant role in Christianity. The Christian faith has survived thanks to the hard work of monks who protected it through invasions, fires, and the passage of time. Its continued strength and relevance show the power of faith and the importance of this unique book. But there's more to explore. How is the Ethiopian Bible organized? What interesting details can we find in its structure? Stay with us as we look closer at the divisions within this ancient work. The Ethiopian Bible is unique and combines history, art, and mystery. It consists of two parts called Garima 1 and Garima 2.2. Each part offers a glimpse into the past, but surprisingly, Garima 2 is considered older than Garima 1. This might be confusing, but both parts have fascinating stories. Garima 1 is a large manuscript with 348 pages, starting with beautiful illustrated tables that help compare information. The Gospels are presented with beautiful, detailed designs that look like tiny architectural features. The manuscript smoothly transitions into Gospel texts written in GZ, the ancient language of the Kingdom of Axum. Unlike Latin or Greek, GZ is still used in Ethiopian religious practices, giving these texts a special spiritual significance. On a different note, Gara 2 is slightly smaller, with 322 pages, but is still important. It's interesting that this was written by another writer and has 17 decorated pages. It features beautiful portraits of the four evangelists. Matthew, Luke, and John are shown facing front, with serious expressions that show strength. Mark is different. He appears in profile, sitting regally on a throne. One page is mysterious and confuses experts. Some think it's the Temple of Solomon, while others believe it represents the Fountain of Life. Intrigue is a staircase that stands out because it doesn't have any similar examples in Christian art, making it truly unique. The beauty of these illustrated pages shows clear influence from Byzantine art, which makes sense because of Ethiopia's historical ties to the Eastern Christian world. Early thought suggested that these illustrations might have come from places like Syria or Egypt, but recent evidence suggests a more interesting idea. They likely originated from within Ethiopia itself. Created in Ethiopia, this revelation highlights the remarkable talent and creativity of the country's early Christian communities, showcasing their important role in art and faith worldwide. Notably, the texts of Garima 1 and Garima 2 do not seem to come directly from each other. Instead, both manuscripts appear to come from an even earlier translation, suggesting that the origins of Ethiopian gospel texts go back even further. This means they are among the oldest surviving Christian scriptures. These old manuscripts have a mysterious quality, even though they are very ancient. They don't include the usual notes by scribes that explain how they were made. However, a note from a different book created in the 14th century, which was once bound with Garima 2, mentions King Arma of Axum. He ruled from 600 to 640 AD, and the covers of these manuscripts also have their own stories to tell. With the cover of Garima, one thought to date back to when the manuscript was created. Christianity has many interesting aspects. These images show a lot, and the speaker encouraged us to explore the texts for even deeper insights. What makes the Ethiopian Bible different from the versions most people are familiar with? Do you agree with Pope Francis supporting it? Share your thoughts in the comments, and please like and subscribe.